Hello people, welcome back to the channel. My name is Darjosh and I'm a BTech Computer Science and Engineering graduate. I'm currently working as a developer at a company. I can be a rapper if I want because I speak really fast sometimes. Let's get to my screen real quick and I'll pull the mic a little bit closer so that I don't have to scream. This is the channel. We have 45 subscribers so far and I'm very grateful for that. Please continue supporting the channel by subscribing to the channel, because that's what you are supposed to do. Let's get started with the video for today. Video is about data constraints in SQL. So we'll go here and we'll study about constraints. So the first thing which you may wonder is what basically are constraints? What do we mean when I say constraint? I think I should zoom more. Okay, so constraints are basically rules applied to a specific column in a table, and these rules basically help ensure data accuracy, data consistency, and data integrity. So in simple words, constraints basically stop the user from inserting invalid data by basically throwing out errors of some sort. So yeah, to compare this with some real life analogy, think of a college admission form. You cannot submit the form unless you have filled the name, unless you have a valid roll number, and you don't have some duplicate student ID or something. The form has some basic rules which we need to follow when we are working with that form or filling up that form. Let's get started. I have already written my lines of code in Notepad which I have. Be copy pasting them and explaining what they are doing. The first thing which we'll do is, I already have created that database, so we'll just use the database collegedb, and the database has been changed. And the first thing we'll be learning is constraint which is called not null. Not null is quite self-explanatory. I don't really think explanation for that, but for those who didn't get it, let's do the explanation part as well. So for doing that, I'll need to drop a table. So now what I'll do is create a table, and this table has a student ID which is integer, and a name which is varchar, which is variable characters, and it's supposed to be not null. If I press enter, the table would be created. Now let's insert some valid data in here. So I'm inserting into students, I'm inserting my name and a random number, which is 1 in this case, and it works just fine. Next up we have an invalid insert, which is this. Because we are putting null here, so it's not supposed to be in the table, because table only accepts this data to be not null. If I press enter, we'll be seeing an error which is column name cannot be null. So the database basically rejecting this record from entering. And yeah, that's how constraints work. They basically are rules which need to be applicable to all the data in that specific column. Next constraint which we'll be discussing is the unique constraint. Unique constraint is, let's see it practically. So I just pick here, I'm creating a table users. It has a user ID and email. User ID is integer, email is varchar, and it's supposed to be unique. Self-explanatory. I think it already exists. Remove that and do it again. Okay, table has been created. Now let's insert some sample data into it. Here we go. I've taken one as the user ID, and I've taken a random email address. It's not my email address, don't try to contact me. You can contact me in the comments. So I've taken this random email and It was good to go. Now let's try another data with the same email address. And if I press enter, it should reject the record right away because for the key, yeah, it's a duplicate entry, so we do not allow that. So as to maintain data consistency and data reliability. Yeah, duplicate emails are basically not allowed, and some real life examples for this is email IDs, Aadhaar numbers, employee IDs, and usernames. Like on Instagram or Facebook, you have a specific username, right? On other numbers, you have specific Aadhaar number for yourself. Email addresses, you all have your unique email addresses, and yeah, that covers all the examples. Next constraint which we'll be discussing today is primary key. For that I'll have to again drop table because we'll be creating the students table again like this. If I press enter, the table will be created, and we are taking two columns this time, which is student ID, which is the primary key, and a name is a varchar. So before going ahead, I'll just explain what primary key does. Primary key is something unique for each record, and it cannot be null. It is used for uniquely identifying a specific row in your table. Let's press enter and table. Let's put in some data. So done. Now let's put in some other data. It should be invalid because one has been already used. Don't want to use one anymore. If you use one again, it would give out an error that it's a duplicate entry. So yeah, primary keys cannot be duplicated, and it should not be duplicated by any means. Next constraint which we'll be looking at is foreign key. We ask what foreign key does. It's basically used for maintaining and establishing relationship between tables, multiple tables. It's one of the most important database concepts, so please listen carefully. This will be making two different tables. One is departments. Right here, departments has department ID, department name. Department ID is primary key. If I press enter, the table would be, or I think I'll need to drop the table. I made that. Okay, I guess. And go. And good to go. The next table which we'll be making is the employees table. Drop the employees that exist. Think. Most of these tables already exist because third take for this video. And good to go. So what I've done here is something that you need to understand. I created the table employees. It has employee ID, which is the primary key like it should be. Employee name, which is varchar. Department ID is an integer. And foreign key is the constraint, which here we are declaring what specific column is supposed to be the foreign key. Foreign key is basically primary key of some other table which is used as a reference in this specific table. And here we are setting the reference for this specific foreign key, which is department ID from this specific table. Let's go ahead and just insert some data into this. Go with this. We are creating a department which is engineering, and we are creating an employee which is me, and I'm an engineer, so goes into the department 1 because it's the primary key here. That has been created. Now let's put some invalid data here, which has the department ID set as 999 because there is no data for the department ID 999. It should give an error that department does not exist. That. Okay, we are getting a long error. Cannot add or update the child row because in the referenced column we do not have something with 999. Yeah, that's how foreign keys work. They are basically for maintaining and constructing relationships between various tables. It could be any tables which you. Next constraint which we'll be covering is default constraint, and I'll drop the those now. What I'll do is I'll paste this and I'll explain what I've done. Creating the table users, user ID is integer. It is supposed to be primary key as well, but I have not written it here because why not? Should I do extra when you're not subscribing to the channel anyways? Next column is status, varchar of course, and the default value here is active. If I don't put any value for default, if I don't put any value for status, it would go for active. Let's go ahead. Yeah, let's insert some data into this. You see carefully, I'm only putting in the user ID for now, and the status would be updated by itself. And the status is active, and we didn't mark it active, as you can see here. Yeah, that's how default works. Next is check constraint. Check is basically when we need to do some validation, like if you're signing up for something like an email address or something, it checks whether you are 14 plus or 18 plus or whatever the criteria is. So to make such checks, drop the tables, and now I'll copy paste in what it does. Students, the table name, student ID is the student ID. Check, here we are checking for age, and it should be equal to or greater than 18 in this case. Let's press enter and create a table. Let's insert some values into it, and it got submitted. By this one, I'm taking the age as 15 here. It should throw an error. Check constraint is violated. Check was not completed. Check was not satisfied, I would say, because the age is 15 and not at all 18 or above. So the database is basically refusing the ages below 18. Next thing which we'll be looking at is the complete examples of everything we have discussed so far. I'll paste this here and I'll explain what it does. Creating the table employee. I delete the table employee. So paste it again. Employee ID is primary key. Employee name is not null. Employee email is unique, and the age is above 18. Status is by default set to active. Now let's look for some data which we can insert. Yeah, let's try with this. Yeah, you're using 3 different data. So going for me, Aryan and Ria, I'll do some remove this part and I'll press enter. Doesn't work because why should it? Because okay, my bad. I was okay, but the count doesn't match of number of data here and the number of columns in the table. Let's press enter and records 3, it's 0, warnings 0. Now let's demonstrate the default constraint. Copy paste. We are entering Kabir here, and by default this should be active. Press enter and see. Okay, it got entered because I have not mentioned because I've only mentioned the rows which we are inserting right now, as of now. Now let's see table. Type it. And not true. Well. So as we see, Kabir is by default active. Let's try for primary key failures. Put this here. Yeah, conflicting primary key here is employee ID. It should throw an error. Just fine enough. We're expecting that. Let's try with unique failure. Email here is not unique anymore, so it would throw out an error. Let's try out the not null defect. Employee name cannot be null. Yes. Yeah, let's try with check failure. Because Rahul is 15 years old. It was violated and this did not let me in data which I've. So yeah, that winds up the video in its entirety, and I think you're good to try these out for yourself. Let me know in the comments if you have any doubts, and I would love to your opinions on this topic if I missed something or I need to manage my time or something. Yeah, I'll next one, and hope you have a good day.